Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Research Code, and we're keeping it geekly with our returning guest, Roland, man. We're here to break down two awesome books. We have the Obsoletes and the Pendulum. Man, you are just pumping these things out left and right. I gotta see, are you like an actual human or are you cyborg, Roland? You gotta give us the, what's going on there?
You've talked to me enough to know, look, I'm just a dude who loves making comics. I love comic books. I love the medium, as you can see from, behind me, of course. Of course, those who are just listening can't see all the comic boxes behind me, but I love the medium. I love what it is, what it can do, what it does. I consume it, and I love to make it. I love to help people, make their comics. So, a lot of people have hobbies. They're like, oh, well, I go to work and then my hobby is, I go gardening. I go to work and then my hobby is making comic books. I spend almost all of my free time making comics. So.
They say die doing what you love. If you let that wall get any bigger, that could very well happen if you bump into it the wrong way.
That's right. Yeah. And it's funny because I was thinking before I came on, I said, the first thing I ought to say to you is this episode should start when last we met.
You are, I think,
just like a comic book, right?
Episode, I think, 397 at this point. We've had you on various times, but man, we're right almost up to 400 at this point.
Wow, dude. What the heck?
Hey, it's the same thing. I love comics too, all right?
That's right. I was going to say, it's the exact same thing. You're doing something that you love, and you it's not work. I mean, it is work. So people think, oh, well, no, it is work. You have to understand, but it's enjoyable work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
some parts of it, right? So sometimes it could be not as enjoyable, but those parts are just as important because you have to learn to love the craft as a whole.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. But that's the thing is, like, I tell people a lot of times when they talk to me, it's work. I'm like, yeah, but it's better than digging a ditch.
Yeah. It's better than getting paid to do something you don't love, right?
I've dug a ditch. I did it my junior year in high school, and I'm like, man, I do not want to dig ditches again.
I'm trying to think of what job I absolutely just hated. I flipped burgers. Flipping burger, that isn't bad. If you get into like a nice little mindless, like, you just kind of disconnect from reality and stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Anything involving paperwork and stuff. I was almost an insurance agent, so let's see. I was a telemarketer. That sucked. You do, but I think that's why I'm so good at talking, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
But like you were able to take this test. It was an insurance test, and I remember everyone's like, "Oh, this is the hardest test." And I took it, and I passed it first try. I was like, "That was easy." And I was the insurance agent for the state of Ohio for a little bit.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. I cannot imagine that.
Yeah.
You've got one of those radio voices,
I know, and it was destined to happen. Going from your telephone to your radio airwave with that keeping it geekly goodness. I need to just come up with a good, like, this is 92.5 Kiss.
That's right.
Keeping it geekly FM. So we're here to talk about two awesome titles from a massive catalog. Give me a little bit of the juice. We have Obsoletes issue 2. So what happened in issue 1? Give us a little bit of issue 1 and then the creative team involved.
Yeah, so the creative team involved, I was trying to look, Wes sent me a little breakdown. I wanted to make sure that I got that right. Here we go. So the creative team involved in the Obsoletes is Wes Loker, who is the creator, writer, and the letterer. The little interesting tidbit about Wes is that Wes is actually a former student of mine. He graduated,
I love it.
Yep, probably around 2015, I think. So he's been graduated sometime, and he was one of these students. If he's listening, he's gonna no, Roland, stop. But he was one of these students that was super motivated. I mean, he was super highly motivated. This is how motivated Wes was, right? So Full Sail, the way our program is put together is there's a list of classes that you take them in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like my class is around number 27 of 32, right? So and it's unless except when they do a little bit of maneuvering around in the end of the program, it's always pretty much there. So like if you're a first year student, you don't take my class, right? You're a senior by the time you take my class. Well, Wes reached out to me when he was on, I don't know, about class 16 or something like that, and said, hey, I want to, I'm really interested in comics. I want to do comics. Do you have some time to meet with me? So I'm like, sure, man. I'm happy to do that. And, dude, he's a student, wants to meet with me, talk about comics. Why would I not, right?
Yeah.
And so we met at one of the little restaurants that are close to the university, and he just started asking, man, he had a list of questions, right? He just started saying, how about this? What about this? What about that? And he just started asking me these questions. And then, I don't know, after about 8 or 10 questions, I finally said, so where are you at? What are you doing? Talk to me. What do you think? He said, well, I've got a contract already. And he pulls out this contract and shows me. And it's like, he's already doing comics and making them. He had a contract with Alterna, I think, at the time. And I'm like, well, holy crap, dude. You, all these questions you just asked me, you've already done. You've already taken care of. He goes, yeah, I kind of wanted to confirm that I was doing everything right.
So that's, a new unique way, already kind of doing it and then like doing it the right way, right enough to get a contract, and then being like, okay, well, let me back up and kind of just go to a teacher and just make sure it's all done correctly. I think, right. I think that's a nice way to kind of go about it as well.
Yeah, very much so. And he, like I said, he was highly motivated. That was the thing I would say about him is, he came in to the program and to the class. He knew what he wanted to do. And, one of the things I often tell my students is they'll get to my class sometimes and they'll say, well, I'm waiting until I graduate and then I'm going to do this. My question is always, why are you waiting until you graduate? There's no reason to wait. Do it now. That little piece of paper is not for comic books. Is not going to, nobody, when I was a Marvel editor, I never asked to see anyone's diploma. I never did. I never see this. Oh, somebody submitted me a story. Well, where did they graduate? I never asked that. It was always, can you do the work? And so when I hear these students come in and say, yeah, well, I'm going to wait until after I finish, and then I'm going to do this, or then I'm going to submit my novel or whatever. I'm like, well, why are you waiting? Do it now. Yeah. So
no, that's, I love that too, because then by the time you graduate, you're already going to have experience, right?
Exactly. Right. Yep. So Wes is joined by penciler Aaron Humphreys. He's inker Jose Fuentes, and then Haley Martin is the colorist. And so yeah, they've got fantastic work. And the first issue. So if you missed the first issue, here's what happened in the first issue. When a group of grizzled intergalactic prospectors is accidentally thrust 20 years into the future, they're faced with a very different reality. The world they knew is unrecognizable, and their profession has changed, becoming more deadly than ever. But rather than ride off into retirement, the crew of Roughnecks sets out to prove they're still the best in the game, even if they are a little bit obsolete.
I love how it plays right into the name as well.
Right.
This sounds this sounds like one hell of a ride. We're gonna be diving into some of the interiors for issue 2, but this isn't the only book we're here to talk about as well. We have Pendulum as well, another interesting series. So go ahead and give us the juice on this one too.
Sure. Pendulum is it's one of our remix books. It was done black and white initially. It is written and drawn by John Drury, my longtime friend. It is inked and lettered by Ted Slampiak, who spent a good career in comics. He did some stuff with Techno Comics,
okay.
the Leonard Nimoy company, and then it's being colored by Roberta Conroy. And it is a good looking book. I mean, Roberta has just really made that art sing. But the Pendulum is a story of an old professor who experiences a midlife crisis. And rather than do the typical midlife crisis things, like climbing Mount Everest or getting a sports car or trying to find a 20 years younger girl, he decides to put on a spandex costume and fight crime.
Okay.
So that's the story of the Pendulum.
I love that too. I mean, There has to be some antics that go into that, you know, having a midlife crisis and then all of a sudden deciding to fight crime. I mean,
It's like, you know, most guys, you know, buy them a sports car, or, you know, look for, like I said, look for a 20-year-old
get a tattoo or something.
Get a tattoo, you know, take up some extreme sport, you know, something like that.
I mean, that does sound a little extreme, though. I'll be honest with you.
It does.
Should have maybe started a few years earlier in the prime, though.
Right. Yeah. So he spends a lot of time banged up and beat up.
Okay.
So it's kind of fun to watch that happen.
So what goes? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that was actually one of the things that that drew Roberta to it when we were talking, and I was looking for someone to color it. I gave her a couple, you know, I said, hey, I got this one and this one, you know, and she read through them, and she says, you know, I'm really drawn to the idea of a superhero in a midlife crisis and really having these kind of, you know, these kind of difficulties, and that's what drew her to the book.
So what goes into remixing a book like this? I mean, did they have like original ideas for what they wanted to be in color? Like, how long has it been since it's been in print versus to coming to color?
Oh, you're going to ask me to do math now, right?
My bad.
90, so 32 years.
So, I mean, did they still even remember like ideas for colors and stuff? Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, you know, we did have the covers were the only thing, because they were originally in black and white, and so that we did have the covers, and that was the only thing that we had to go by with any kind of color reference at all. And so we had four covers, you know, issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, and that was all we had. So that was what was given to Roberta for color reference. So you ask what goes into it. So one of the things, and this is what a lot of people I don't think realize, is that for a lot of these books, we don't have the original art, or we have some of the art and you know, not all of it. For none of them, Cray, we had like the last 3 issues, we had the old issues. For some reason, I still had all the art for issues 3, 4, and 5, and I don't know why that happened. So what we have to do is we'd scan the art, right? Or we actually, I used to have one right there, but I think I put it up now. What I would do is I would go through and literally take the staples out of the comic, right? To very gently take the staples out of the comic so that I don't tear the pages up. And then, you know, I was able to put that on a high resolution scanner, scan it, and then we go in and doctor it up. We try to remove. And so this is where it's digitally remastered. And so we go in and try to remove a lot of the noise from it. We'll try to touch up some of the inefficiencies of the first printing. Sometimes, you know, the pages don't print really well, and we'll fix those. So we just go in and spend time digitally remastering the black and whites before we hand those over to Roberta. So yeah, and the thing about, you know, we talked about these for a long time, and the thing about the remix titles is that we don't ever want to try to confuse anyone, so we make sure that we put, you know, this on our logos.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, so anyone who knows, hey, I think I read Switchblade back in, like, you know, 1990 something. It's like, okay, well, you might have, but it was in black and white back in then, but this one's in color because it's a remix version, right? And so all of the books that we do, look what I happen to have here, the very first issue of Obsoletes. And so Obsoletes, then this is our standard, you know, trade dress up at the top, and then the remix is it's the same, but it has the X.
X, I like that. Yeah, no, that is cool, and I like how you make sure to put that difference there as well. Does it ever, like, I would love to see what your calendar looks like, running so many different projects and books, and like that. You probably have like calendars within calendars. Like, it's impressive.
I have. We use Google Calendar a lot, and whenever I open Google Calendar, I have. If you've ever used it, you know, you've got the little thing on the side where you can check which calendar you want to see. I have about 12 of them over there. And I keep them all unchecked unless I want to see them. All right, we have the newsletter, we have the Kickstarters, we have the streams, we have the and there's all kinds of those. And of course, I have my personal ones too, my family ones, my kids both have calendars, and so Yeah, it's a mess. My calendars are a mess.
Shoo. So right now
But
would be a
that's
perfect. Go ahead.
but that's the way you got to. I mean, that for me, that's the way you got to keep up with it. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. There's you gotta figure it out, and
That's right.
sometimes to someone who normally wouldn't be doing it, it would look chaotic, but to you, that's your piece. That's like this is my zone. This is how it works.
That's it.
And that's
it.
why you're the one running it, right? You're the
That's
one,
right.
the head of Silverlight. So,
What's funny is that back in the day, back when I was an editor at Malibu and at Marvel, I had big spreadsheets, right?
Mhm.
Because then we had of course that was my full-time job then, and we had monthly titles, and so I had these great big Excel spreadsheets that I would print out, and it had each of the issues with the months, and everything was kind of it would stack like this because there was issue 1 month 1, issue 2 month 2, issue
Mhm.
3 month 3, and then of course then there's the other titles that I had these massive spreadsheets, and usually included creator names and deadlines for them.
Okay.
So it was, but you have to function that way because otherwise you will lose track of something, and then next thing you know, it'll come up and bite you on the butt because you
Yeah, it gets
forgot.
buried. Yeah, it gets buried, and then
Yeah,
they're like, "Hey, when's this comic?" And you're like, "Oh crap, that was
right.
due today."
That's right. And usually my bosses wouldn't say it quite so nice.
Oh.
It's like, Roland, where's the comic? It's supposed to go out today. Oh no. Yeah.
Oh no, but hey, the thing is, beauty of it is you've been on top of it. I think we have a awesome campaign that we're getting ready to look at, so let's go ahead and head right over there and see what all the hype is about. So everyone that is watching, be sure to check this out with us. You can go ahead, pull this link up, and check it out for free. Another thing you can do for free is share this link on Facebook, Twitter. Word of mouth is 100% free. We would love to see it back as well, but if you can't back, simply putting this wherever you can helps just as well. We're looking at Silverline double feature, Obsoletes issue 1 through 2, and Pendulum issue 1. Currently at $854 of a $1,500 goal, 24
Nice.
backers, and 18 days left to go. So how you feeling right now? You're about halfway through, and you still have a decent amount of campaign to go.
Yeah. I feel pretty good. We launched yesterday. So
Wow, so a little bit of a shorter campaign then.
yes, yeah, we well, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, you only have so many days in the calendar, and rather than do 30 days, we cut ours down to 20 days.
Okay.
Yeah, and we find that we pretty much do so. You've been following Kickstarters long enough to know, there's that middle period that is just dead.
Yeah,
right?
the plateau.
The plateau, and there will be days go by, and a 4-week campaign there'll be days go by in weeks 2 and 3 that you don't get any pledges at all. And so part of us is that what we decided initially, let's try pulling, yanking that middle week out of it, shortening the campaign, and seeing if that affects us. We didn't notice any real measured difference in the number of backers or dollars, and we didn't have to be on for so long.
Oh wow, that's awesome though, because that takes a lot of stress away from it, right? About a third of it feels like.
Yeah, trying to be on and push a campaign for 30 days, man, that's exhausting. It's just exhausting because you feel like, at some point in time, you're always, hey, back the campaign, and sometimes you're like, yeah, people are going to hide me because that's all I ever say for this 30 days, and you don't want to be hidden. You don't want people to remove your social media, because then when you have something else cool going on, they're not going to see it, right?
Yep.
So yeah, we kind of made the decision to cut it down to the 20 days, and we're a lot healthier for it, I think.
Yeah.
It's a 3-week campaign instead of a 4-week campaign. It means that we got to be a little more aggressive in trying to get, talk to folks like you, because our window is a little shorter, but it gives us more time to, pound the pavement, get it done, and then get the books off to the printer. And of course, we're big in shipping on time as well. This book should ship in August, so we'll end this campaign, and then that gives me about 6 weeks before August starts to start shipping the book. So Yeah, it just works for us. I know there's a lot of people have said, "Oh, you should do it for 30 days." And I'm like, I did those before.
Yeah, how many have you done at 20? Is this your first one, or have you done a couple?
At 20? No, this is about number 8 at 20.
Okay, so you've done this a handful of times then.
Yeah.
That's probably 3 months though, given you guys and how many books you push.
I was about to see if I could dig out the exact number. I used to be able to tell you exactly what. This is campaign number 25.
Yeah, that is shoo. We got J. Michael Miller saying excited for Wes's book. The other one sounds interesting too. Absolutely right. There is the link to check it out. So that's impressive, and I think that's I think we're starting to see a lot of other campaigns follow suit where they're kind of knocking down a few days or a week off the campaign, so that way, they can focus on the next campaign as well. And it seems like a lot of people, are ditching, going for big publishers or super huge, and doing the crowdfunding and sticking to Kickstarter. Kickstarting is starting to feel more of like a direct market kind of competitor almost.
It really is. There's so many problems with the direct market, and I try not to be a negative guy, but what the distribution and the stores and all that kind of thing, fans are I think looking for alternate methods. Yeah, so you got to go back and click on one of those foil covers.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll do the first one.
I should have cut the sound out, but you can see how beautiful those things are. Look at that.
Yeah, that is gorgeous.
Yeah, they really are. That's just they're just I'm super happy. I might have it right here. Do I have it right here? What do I do with it? I'm not sure what I did with them now. They're probably in there on my film at the table.
As soon as the interview ends, you'll find them. You'll be like, oh, they're right here.
Here we go. There it is.
See? Yeah, that's pretty.
See how gorgeous that is?
I love how the number. So is that like a special variant then?
Yes, this is our Kickstarter exclusive.
Okay.
The only way you can get this is to get it through Kickstarter. Once the campaign is over, you cannot get the foil. You can still get the book, right? But you cannot get the foil version. And so, we're really excited. We used to do a different cover, but I like the foils better because I can still use the artwork for the covers, right? I can still have those as covers, where I couldn't some of the others. So so we've got them. I see you got it pulled up there. We've got them, and if you're like, the Pendulum doesn't sound very interesting to me, and I don't want paper, well, you can just get the Obsoletes #2 digital.
$5 is an outstanding price, and I mean. $5 for the other one as well. Another thing was you can get both of them at a really cheap price. So the digital double at $8. That's outstanding. That's what, like 40 plus, almost 50 plus pages of comic right there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we feel that, and one of the things we try to do is we try to, of course, we know that most of the people who back campaigns understand that this is a way for creators to try to raise money, and they know that premiums are they look at the comic book and say, hey, that I could buy this comic book for you for $5 when I see you at the convention in two or 3 months. Yes, you can. You're right. 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 or 5 months. Yes, you can. You're right. But most of them know this is a way to help us raise money to get these done. Yeah. So they can buy it for us, from us, But what we try to do is we try to, the more you get, the better deal it is, right? So like you said, the digital double, we want you to get both books. We don't want you to just get Pendulum or to just get Obsoletes. We want you to get both of them because we believe in both of the projects. And you'll find that's the same way. Yeah, if you just want the Obsoletes cover A, well then you can get that right there. And now that's not the foil because that's the Kickstarter version, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So we have the A's, the B's. Yep. There's the Obsoletes.
I like how it's the same price. A, B, and C are all the same price. Even 7 as well. Yeah. Excuse me. Cover A, the remix cover. Yep. Yeah. They're all the same. They're all the same price.
We have people tell us occasionally you should jack your prices up, but I'm like, I want it to be affordable, but it's still a little, a little bit more, still a bit of a premium, so that we can raise the money.
We also have. Oh, go ahead.
Yep, you're right. There's the catch up.
I was gonna say, awesome price there too. $2 extra, you get issue 1. That's another 20 extra pages. Like, so
that's
what?
right.
60 plus pages for $10. That's a killer price right there.
Yes. Yeah. And that's of course made for the folks who like, hey, I didn't get the first issue, but I don't want to get the number 2 without getting number 1. So well, there you go.
We got the physical of both at 12 for cover A's. Cover B and cover C at 12 as well, and then the Obsoletes 2 foil at 15, so that shiny Kickstarter edition. Same for Pendulum remix as well. You can get the retailer tier at 20. We have both foil Kickstarters at 25, so I mean, dude, killer deals on those. The Obsoletes completionist at $30, and then the Pendulum 1 remix completionist at 30 as well. You get a complete completionist at 50. I mean, you always kill it with these tiers. And then right here is a look at some of these interiors. So let's go ahead and see what we're here pledging for today. So we got the Obsoletes up here, some gorgeous interiors. And it looks like they are crash landing on a rather ominous looking planet. I mean,
it is good wholesome science fiction. Spaceships and blasters and all that kind of stuff. I think sci-fi fans are going to really like. I'm a fan of sci-fi, so I think sci-fi fans will enjoy this.
And then we have the Pendulum as well, coming with color for the first time. So that's always, I would wonder what the creators feel like seeing their work in color for the first time after 30 years. That had to have been such a euphoric feeling.
John was just ecstatic because he had given me the okay to do it, right? But this had been some time. I'd had it for a while before finding someone to color it, and so I just surprised him out of nowhere with a couple of JPEGs and said, "Hey man, what do you think about this?" And his response back to me was like, "Oh my gosh, it was everything that I could possibly imagine in color." And he was. That's
fantastic.
He was pretty excited about it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then we have add-ons as well. Some awesome commissions here.
Jose will do a convention a commission like you can pick up from him at a convention. If you were to see him at a show and say, hey, can I have a commission? This would be like that. It's the size of a backing board so that we can throw it in with your comics and not have to worry about, anything oversized. Haley Martin will do the same thing. We've got T-shirts. I don't know if you can. See.
I see the one in the back. Yeah.
We have been so happy with our T-shirt maker. Initially, we did it as a little bit of a trial because I didn't want it to be too pricey because then I knew $40 sheet. You're not going to get a $40 T-shirt. For me, you're going like, Roland, I like you, but $40 for a T-shirt, probably not going to happen, right?
$18.20 is a killer price.
Yeah, it's a great price, right? It's still and the shirts are. But see, my thing was I didn't want to do that end up having a cheap shirt, right? So, okay, well, we can get a cheap price, but and we found this guy, and we did this as a trial run, and oh my gosh, I love the quality of his shirts. They're just awesome.
And we have some.
So I'm going to ask you, if you will, to click on that link.
Right here,
the original art, because. We have 26 pages. I think this is 26. All of that original art is available. I think there's a couple pages that are gone, but you're looking at original art that is available to own as an add-on with this campaign. So this is a original art fan's dream right here. There's so many pages. There's the original. There's the covers that were at the top, and a lot of this is the original pencils by. Yeah, I see. Those are the covers for Obsoletes. That's the first one. There is Jose Fuentes pencils. You can just go through them like that, I reckon. And that's Jose inking Rob Davis did an awesome cover. And then
these are gorgeous.
Yeah, and then I think that one might be gone, actually. And then those are Rob Davis pencils, which are still available. And then Thomas Formani did his first ever. So Tommy is a good buddy. I think you've talked to Tommy, too. I've known Tommy for 30-something years. He has his own style, and he calls it his Kid Hero style, which you are looking at.
Oh,
This
that's
is his
cool.
first ever Kid Hero style cover for us, and we are very excited about that. But he's got those original inks up there available.
That's so cool. And there's just a ton too. So I mean, some awesome original
Yes.
art you can get here. How much is that for an add-on?
Well, so they vary, but like all the pencils, those pencils are just $40 a page.
Oh, that's that's killer
That's just it's
price.
just crazy. Yeah, yeah. The covers though, those all vary from about 100 to about 175, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
which is still a great price for original art.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Um,
mean, holy crap. And then, of course, last but not least, we also have, if you missed an issue, you can add them on, and there is a ton to add on. Like, this
yes.
thing feels like you could just scroll down for miles.
It's funny because we didn't do that. Well, obviously, we didn't have a backstock for the first ones, but we didn't start doing it until sometime later. But then
Hmm.
we got to thinking, we might as well add in options for our backstock. And it never fails that every campaign, we probably have 20 to 30 backstock items ordered, added on, I guess you should say.
That's so cool, though.
Yeah. So people find us and they're like, "Oh, look at these other books. I never heard of the Silverline before. I'm going to try this Obsoletes." And they're like, "Oh, well, look, this Twilight Graham looks interesting. I'm going to get
Hmm.
those."
And
And
then the
so we
Silverline trades, too. Congratulations on
yep.
those.
Thank you. Yep. Caitlis is the first volume. We've got two more that we need to add, which we haven't done yet, and that's Trump's is finished and Friar Rush is finished. We'll probably
Hmm.
run a campaign for those soon, and then we'll add those to our list of trades.
That's so cool. You guys are just
Yeah.
killing it with your catalog and library and just all these new titles that are hitting the shelves too. This is remarkable. You've been on the show before. You know the drill. For anyone who might be on the fence about backing, what do you got to say to them? If you could just have a few seconds to push them over that fence.
Sure. Listen, I've spent 30 years in the industry. I was an editor at Malibu Comics. You've probably heard of Malibu Comics because you've heard fans talking lovingly about the Ultraverse. I was a part of that back in the day before Marvel bought us. Then I became a Marvel editor. Silverline is a group of folks who love comics and love making comics. Usually, and I can't remember. I think we were off the air when I said this, but this is. I love comics. I love comics. I love to read them. I love to make them, and I surround myself with people that are like that for Silverline. In fact, this is one of the things that I look for when someone talks to me about the potential of working at Silverline. I try to find out, well, how much do you love comics? Because I want you to love comics.
Yeah.
I don't want you to come here just because it's something to do, right?
Hmm.
Or, well, you look like a good place that I can make comics. I get it. That's fine. Whatever. No. I want you to love comics. I want you to be able to come on a stream with Cody and talk about how much you love comics.
Yep.
And I honestly believe that love is reflected in the product that we make. So I honestly believe that anyone who picks up a Silverline book is going to pick it up and read it. And when they're done, they're going to say, you know what? That was pretty good. I enjoyed my time, and I think that my money was well spent.
I love it. Now, for the remainder of the show, we got two things real quick. A piece of advice, I think right now, since the subject was focusing so hard on like not getting burnt out and everything, as someone who just has so much going on at any given point, how do you balance it all out? What would be your biggest piece of advice for anyone who has a lot going on to find that balance?
Yeah, we talked a lot about calendars. Keep a calendar. Make sure that you're doing stuff. Make sure that you're spending time with your family. The folks who spend time with the people who love you. Those are the people who will recharge your batteries. They will, hopefully, they are encouraging you. They will, build you up. They will give you that energy to continue on. I think that's vital. I know a couple of people whose spouses don't support them, and I want to cry when I hear that, because I just think that's a sad situation to be in.
Yeah.
Because I think you need that support. You need that, not really validation, but you need that to know that the person that the people that you deeply love support you. And then the other thing is make sure that you're doing something that's not comics as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Whether you're gonna play pickup basketball on Saturdays, down at the court, or whether you're gonna go fishing every Saturday with your kids or your dad. Do something that's not comic related. To help, your mind doesn't need to be on comics 100% of the time. You gotta keep yourself sane. Plus, you gotta give your brain a chance to catch back up with you, right? Because if you're constantly comic, your brain's gonna be going, whoa, hold on a minute, So you need to give it a chance to catch up. So. Those would be the two pieces of advice that I would have is make sure you spend time with your family and make sure you do something, just a little bit of time that's not comics.
Little do we know, Roland's out on the court just draining threes left and right.
Listen, I played basketball in high school, and my job was I hated. I didn't like basketball. I played football and baseball. I love both of those sports. But when I played basketball, the coach would come to me and say, "Man, come here, man. You see, that number up there? Yeah, coach, I see him. Go foul him." "Okay, coach." That was my job. Yep.
Hey, I'm sure you did it good though.
I just went in and I just smacked people.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And now you get to do it and get paid to make sure they hit those deadlines. So
That's
Roland,
right.
We've changed things up a little bit since you last been on the show. I end by asking you what you consume outside of creating. So, I mean, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you doing to give your brain a little bit of time to relax?
Sure. I do a lot of reading. I am currently reading The Picture of Dorian Gray. It's something I had never read before, and of course, it's a classic literary work.
Mm-hmm.
It was referenced in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish it because it's a tough read for me. I do like to read literature works, right? But I've never read this one. Do I have it here? No, it's on my nightstand.
So is it like rough translation, rough subject? Is it just like a big book?
It's densely written.
Okay.
There's a lot of it takes the characters a long time to do anything because there's so many descriptions and explanations. It's a very slow read. Like the first 20 pages were just about these two guys talking about Dorian Gray and trying to get an introduction to him. And I'm like, okay, come on, move. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. It's just a little slow and it's pretty dense. I'm going to, I'll give it 50 pages, give it a try. I know there are probably people out there going, "Oh, you got to finish it. It's a classic." Well, I've reached that stage of my life where if I can't get past 50 pages and find myself really interested, then I'm going to put it away.
Mm-hmm.
But I read a lot. I read a lot of novels. I like science fiction. I'm in the middle of a reread of Isaac Asimov's robot novels.
Okay.
I love the robot novels. They're just really mysteries in space.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy those very much. I watch movies, but I don't watch a lot of TV.
I get it.
I do watch TV. So not that I don't watch any. I mean, clearly there are things that I have to see, right? The Falcon and Winter Soldier. I had to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. We are in the middle now. We're watching Castle. I'm a big Nathan Fillion fan.
Okay.
And he plays the lead character in Castle. And so we're in about season 6. I usually watch like an episode, 2 episodes a day, right? So I'll watch one at lunch. My wife and I will fix our lunch, whatever that might be, and we'll sit down and we'll watch an episode while we eat. And then we might do the same thing again in the evening. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But yeah, so that's about the extent of the TV I watch. I know some of my friends just sit down and watch, 3 or 4 hours of TV at night. While
Wish I had that time, right?
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so some of now in their defense, some of them are my artist buddies, right? So they can sit there and draw and watch,
yeah, I gotcha.
I can't read or write and watch a television show. I can't do that. But I like movies. I like to watch movies. The wife and I watch 3 or 4 movies a week.
Okay.
So
we got some love in the chat. We got David saying I started collecting comics again actually found some Looney Tunes and Scooby-Doo comics. Didn't even realize they made those two into comics. Yes, there's been a ton.
Yep.
Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, all pretty much anything you probably loved as a kid has been a comic first and foremost. Got Patrick Rader, I enter on Isaac Asimov. My respect for the guest went through the roof. If you're interested, right here is a link to check out the guest's Kickstarter as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It is time for us to wrap up. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.